Hello, Stampin' Friends. It is Friday, and this is Lori Bradley, and it is Fun Fold Friday. Today, I have what looks like a normal card, and it is a double triangle front fold. It's actually a fake fun fold that just makes it look super fancy. Okay, so it's 2 triangles as your front cover. All right, so we're just going to use a regular half sheet of cardstock, but it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, and don't worry, we will put those dimensions in the comments section, but that's 4 1/4 by 11, and it's folded, scored at 5 1/2 on the long side. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to take from the fold line to the corner, and we are going to cut that. All right, we are going to line that up in our cutting track. Let me scoot it up so you can see. So I went a little farther. Just trying to, there, now it'll lay flat. All right, so we've got our, there we go. Now we're just gonna cut that triangle from corner to corner. All right, now this cut actually will make 1 card, but when you cut your designer series paper, you'll find that you will actually need 2 pieces of 4 by 5 1/4 designer series paper. And so my sample, I did it and I realized you can't just cut the designer series paper in half from corner to corner and get identical pieces. So you have to use 2 pieces of paper so that you can have the fold. So one needs to go from the top left to the bottom right, and one needs to go from the top right to the bottom left. So in essence, it's just as easy to make 2 cards at one time. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I've got my triangles there. Now, I'm gonna cut my designer series paper from the top left to the bottom right. Just like that. Now you'll see that we can't turn that way. So that's my first piece. My second piece, I'm going to cut from the top left to the bottom right, or the top right to the bottom left, excuse me. Top right to the bottom left. So now we have 2 pairs that will match like this. Took a little bit of trial and error for me to figure that out. So now we have 2, okay? And that's important. So let me go ahead and cut my second piece of old olive, and I'm gonna cut that one the same way. If I put it on my front, it probably doesn't matter because we can fold it whichever way. We'll fold it corner to corner. So from that corner by the score line down to the bottom edge. So now we've got 2 cards. I love when we can make 2 for the price of 1. All right, so we've got our card bases, and here comes the easy part. We've got it all cut. We have our card bases, and we have our triangles. Make sure your triangles are going the right direction. So we've got our 2 card bases and our 2 triangles. All right, so you know what, I'm gonna set this one aside so that way we're only working on one at a time. I do suggest the liquid glue for designer series paper, but also for these triangles, because you wanna make sure that your corners are stick. So if you use regular adhesive, you can't necessarily get those little dots of glue right into that corner. I'm gonna put that right on this triangle. Just like that. So I did that piece 4 by 5 1/4 so that there will be a little bit of an edge around the outside so that we have a mat. Looks like a mat. And we're gonna go ahead and glue the other triangle that we mixed and matched. We'll put this on the other piece. Okay, now this can go either way. You can put it on the front like this, or if you wanted to put it behind and do it that way, either way is completely fine. It's gonna turn out the same. So I'm just gonna do it on the front, and I'm gonna look at it and kind of eyeball it, and I'm gonna put my glue on the bottom piece. And if I go a little over, that's okay, because my sentiment piece is going to cover that. So if I get a little glue up here, it's going to get covered. And then we just line this piece up with the right hand side. Just like that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do the other one really quick also. Same thing, but this is why we had to use 2 pieces of paper, because the cut doesn't work both directions. You might ask me how I know that. Of course, it's a trial and error sort of situation. So there's our first piece, and then our second one. Make sure your triangle is flipped the right way, and we'll put it on like this. It's probably best if you use a non-directional piece of designer series paper, just so you don't have to worry about which side goes up. But just make sure when you do choose your designer series paper, if it is directional, that you know which way it needs to be cut. If we had stems going up on one side and down on the other, that would be bad. So we just have little bunches of poinsettias. This is the Traditions of Christmas specialty paper. All right, so we'll do that again. I'm gonna do my 2 cards a little bit different, just to give it a little bit of variety. I'm gonna turn 1 portrait and 1 landscape. There we go. So our front will have a little line on the inside, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna put our white panels on the inside. You can stamp, of course, on the inside if you want. Just keep in mind that that top V will be visible. So if you want to stamp something there, then it might be a little bit of a problem. So just make sure that your stamping is hidden underneath there. Okay, so there's that. Now, I have 2 traditional labels die cut. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stamp them the same. I got old olive ink here, and I'm gonna stamp those. I put the Merry and the Christmas onto the same block so I could do it all at one time. And I moved it after I stamped my sample, so hopefully it's gonna work out okay. Okay, so now we have 2 of those. Now let's put these on, and I'm gonna put this one on landscape. And we'll do this one, we'll do it portrait, and we'll see what we've got. I just wanted to see if this would work. So the easiest way for me to do this was to figure out, because if I put dimensionals across the back of my die cut, that could be a problem. So I'm going to just put my dimensionals right here along this V, so that way I know that they'll be covered and they won't be hanging off the edge. And then that will stick right there. Kind of looks like an envelope, but it's not. All right, and then this one, since it's gonna go horizontal like that, I wanna put my dimensionals in the same spot, just go in the other direction. Okay, that might be too wide. No, I think we're okay. I almost got it too wide. So if you're gonna do the label sideways, just make sure you cover your dimensionals, because that could have been a tragedy. All right, now we need some bling and some ribbon. So we'll just tie a couple of bows, just a bow. The red satin ribbon is very pretty. Just keep in mind, it's a little shinier on one side than it is the other. So when you tie your bow, just make sure that your loops have the shiny part out. Doesn't have to be a big bow. We're just gonna attach it with a glue dot. I'm not good at saving ribbon, so we're just gonna trim it. I'll lose a couple of inches, but and we're gonna put that on right here. Got our glue dots. And the glue dots, we're just gonna open those and lay our ribbon right on to the next glue dot, right on the back of that knot. And we'll go that way. I'll make sure I turn it so you can actually see our words. Pull that side just a little bit. There we go. And then let's do this one. Same thing. We're just going to tie the bow. We could probably wrap it around. We could easily change up our ribbon, but I'm just going to tie the bows and post them right on the corner. Get that, a first try. If you're watching this, you are seeing history being made right now. All right, I'm probably the only one who's excited about my bow on the first try, but that's okay. That's okay. Maybe someday I will get it all figured out. And then same thing with this one. I'm just gonna put it on that upper left corner. And then we need some bling. So some of the traditional sequins, aren't they pretty? The red, the old olive, the pool party, and the gold. And I think for this one, I'm gonna go gold, just for fun. Put one right on our sentiment piece. There's 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. So I'll use one of each. Okay, and then let's go with a red. Ooh. Ooh. These are a little different place, so let's do 3 of those as well. There we go. So we made 2 fun folds out of 1 sheet of cardstock and 2 4x5 1/4 pieces of designer series paper. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching me today, and I will see you again next Friday for our next fun fold. Have a great weekend.